welcome to Kachai with Lucky. I have the sex therapist, Brian Semanda, and of course, Mrs. Ashlyn Mubiru. And the conversation we want to have today is, I think people are having difficult transitioning from single life to now getting married. I don't think they prepare you enough with what is expected or what you're going to find in your marriage.
Wonderful.
So we have a newlywed here. Maybe we'll start with you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. So maybe you tell us how the whole transition is like and what people should be told before they actually
You see, I have noted so many things in the recent 4-5 months. And the funny thing about people change when they assume a status. The things they were doing start changing. The things they never did also start changing. So it takes a lot of wisdom and understanding for you to know that, oh wait, I think she's trying to fit in as a Mrs. Or I am trying to fit in as a Mr. But then it's a hard place to be because whenever you're used to, some of us who are single men, sometimes you just want to end up bed, like after a long day, you're tired, you're like, whoo.
You don't want to shower.
It's that one, I didn't want to mention it. But you see, and someone's like, even though it's cold, you're late, for example, you like slept late, it's coming to 2. Go and shower. It's like, it's 2 o'clock, I'm going to wake up early. And, so many things of transitioning become a little bit troublesome because you don't know. And from that time, I actually believed people who said I can never marry someone I've not stayed with for a while. And that's where people who are religious have this trouble. Like they say, they get married, they date for 5 years and they get married for just months.
Right.
I've realized why. It's because there are things that you don't know what people do when you get along with them. So it's a very tricky place. But I'm happy that because I'm a chiller, I let things be.
I'll be very honest with you. When I was getting from being single and being independent and being on my own and just being lucky, there are certain things that I used to do. So when now we started living together as a married couple, I had issues with being asked where I'm going. I found it quite disturbing because my question was like, I am a grown woman. I must tell you where I'm going. So that for me, nobody prepared me for it. Nobody told me that, listen, Lucky, once you get married, you're going to be answerable to this man. So sometimes you need to tell him exactly where you are, when you are, because that's what you're supposed to do. So I think people need to prepare themselves for that, when you transition from being a girlfriend or fiancé or whatever, and you start living with this man, he's going to start asking uncomfortable questions to you.
And you need to answer them.
To receive them,
There's something that I found, I got to know that ladies are prepared for marriage than men do. The ladies at the time, they used to go to their traditional sengas, their traditional aunties, who would prepare them for marriage, and they wouldn't do that for the boy child. So you find that this lady is so prepared, I'm going to be in this marriage, I'm going to do this. They are told so many things that realistically, when they get there, it's a whole different
ball game. Exactly.
So I ask myself, what is it? And I've noticed that even sometimes people who advise these days are not the married ones.
No.
So the most important thing, the issue of marriage is between the two. And it's about appreciating, where am I going? It is not about expecting, what do I want from there? It's about, what are we going to build together?
Right.
So people go in with this expectation of, when I get there, I'll make sure he stops drinking, I'll make sure I stop doing this, I will do this, she will have to stop this, she will stop dressing up in those minis when she gets married to me. And yet this person, I used to enjoy my minis, now I'm married. You're telling me, where are you going with that dress? How?
You see, the funny bit is, even me as a guy who's doing certain things, there's a certain kind of language I even feel uncomfortable using.
Right.
There's a certain kind of way I answer calls and I'm like, I'm trying to get you used that, hey.
Because you're used to the word hi, sweetie.
Oh, darling. But you go to a place where you go to a place where you're like, now I think I'm supposed to be responsible. But the only idea I've actually noted that the marriage is not the wedding, but most people look at the wedding
as the marriage.
As the marriage.
Right.
The marriage is not the wedding. Some people came and said, we've been together for 12 years. We had children, and we chose to legalize our marriage.
Right.
Immediately after the wedding, everything changed.
Something that happens.
Something somersaults. So that transitioning could be, I think, there's a pressure that comes along with the functions. I think the pressure is what we should look at most, because most people prepare for the functions more than
Than
they
the
prepare
actual wedding.
for the
actual
real
marriage.
marriage. And I've noticed that ever since I chose to go in that line, people address me a different way. And I'm like, hey, come on, I've been the same person, same thing, everything, nothing
it's
has
not
changed.
the same.
But
It's
then,
not the same if you're
but then
married, man.
as a young man out there, I think it's very important to notice. I did not know that you can be in a marriage or with a woman and don't have sex. I mean, me, I thought it's automatic. Like, as long as you're here, I am there, I will have it.
It's gonna
So
happen.
when you get married, you realize there are days when there is no sex.
Yeah.
There are days when there is no foreplay.
And you need to appreciate
And I
it.
need to appreciate that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I liked what you said, that people prepare more for the function and the marriage. You know why? Because I think people need to step back a little bit and start preparing for marriages before now you start thinking about the function. How prepared are you? Are you sure this is the man you want to be with, for starters? Are you sure that you have known this man, you know his flaws, and you can live with them? This, and because you have rushed to get into the marriage.
People have stayed together for 5 good years and they get there like, I didn't even know this is the kind of man.
Because of course there are certain things that
People
you're going
hide
to
things.
pick up every now and then. But there's this person who meets a guy, in 3 months you want to do a wedding. You've not prepared a marriage,
that one, no.
but you want to do a wedding. It happens.
Yes,
and they end
it
up getting
does.
married. So for me, I think, stop just preparing for the actual wedding day and also looking into the marriage. The kind of person you're getting married to, is that the man that you really want? Can you
that
live
the
with that?
woman?
Because for me, commitment starts here.
True.
I commit that, Brian, I'm going to get married to you. I know who you are, maybe I don't, but I've made the decision that you're
we are
the
going
one.
to grow
Whatever comes,
into
I am
it.
going to
Yes.
I'm going to work around that, because you're the man that I've chosen, by all means, to commit to and take whatever you're bringing my way.
I think I wish I had power of religious leaders to tell these people that it's okay to be with someone before you're really married. Because
Right.
I mean, being this kind of therapist, people come with different issues, and you realize, I'm sorry to say, the religious patterns have a lot more trouble in their marriages than the freelancer. You call freelancer,
And they cannot speak.
You know why? Because for them, they happily went in. Moved in for every weekend, she's there, noticing things, because you will never know someone until you start sleeping in the same bed. And a lot of young people say, I've never slept with him, we've dated for like 3 years, but now everything is totally different.
And then he starts to snore and you're like, hey,
Exactly.
like a
So,
generator.
if I had power as a religious leader, I would tell people, first stay together at least for a month or 2 before you can make a decision to marry them. Because if you can stay with someone for a year or 2 and still say, I love them, then you are good. Because something happened recently. You see, I don't lie to a place where I am. I never lie where I am for whatever case. I can lie about what I'm doing, but I say, I'm at this place we are shooting. But then I realized that when you are asked where you are, there's a pressure it brings
Yes.
onto you.
Yes.
You're like, okay, now what am I going to say? You keep on lying about not necessary things. Who
Stupid
you with?
things, yeah.
But no one is going to beat you. No one is going to kill you. So I think young people should also realize that when you're transitioning into marriage, accept who you are and be true to yourself more than the other people. Because mirror yourself. What if you lie to someone and wherever they are, it's not there? I realize now these days I have to sleep with a phone far from me. These days I'll be with my phone before bed and like, but right now, like you're in bed, and before someone's like, you're still on phone. But I got used to answering my questions or my clients' messages till late. Until now, I know by 7 p.m. I'm not responding to any client. But then it was different. So I think it takes a certain type of wisdom and knowledge to understand. I'm a married man now. I need to cater for their feelings.
Yeah, but then also the pressure that we put onto our partners sometimes it will frustrate them, and you'll end up, losing the whole, communication in the marriage. Ashley, you know your man. You got married to him. Why are you asking him 24/7 where he is? And you do what?
But why would you even ask? Because at the
And you
end
do
of
what?
the day,
Hey.
what if I lie to you?
No.
And I'm thinking, what satisfaction do you get? There's a friend of mine who was called. I hang around most times with male friends. It's like, oh no, lwachankubira. Alozandise pitch nti bagenda kunfumbiramu. Am I a saucepan that they need me to put food in? And everyone laughed and was like, man, your woman, you made him get used to calling you and telling you or asking you where
are you?
Right now, you made your man get used to, we have to eat together at dinner. So it is time for dinner.
And
be
you're
home,
nowhere to be.
and you're nowhere
I
to
think
be
it's
seen.
just an issue of communication. The other thing is if you know you're supposed to have dinner at 9 with the kids and send a message.
And
I'm
say,
with the
"I'll be
boys. I
late."
won't be able. So that your woman now doesn't
You
start
do
bugging
not
you.
communicate.
Don't wait for a
the
call
issue.
from me. Responsibility checks you in. Hey, it's 7 o'clock. This guy is used for me. I mean, being 7 home.
Yes.
It's 8 already. I'm not there. Why don't you communicate before anything goes in? So I noticed that 90% of the marriage breakups actually happen in the first quarter or 4 months of the marriage because so many things are flipping. There's one time
And you're not finding solutions. for
exactly.
them.
One time, before we got married, this guy was so romantic, Brian. I mean, I would feel everything, but there's not any bit of romance now. The guy just tells you, change around, because they have assumed a certain kind of responsibility, and the kind of person he was before the marriage. The guy was romantic, calling you nice, touching you, giving you all the foreplay you need before the game. Now, there's no more of that, because there's an assumption, I am the man.
Which affects the girl at the end of
But
the day.
then also, in most cases, you said Sengas prepare. Sengas will prepare, cook for your man, and then they'll say just be submissive. Give him sex
I keep
whenever he wants.
believing those folks.
And those things don't work.
They don't.
They don't
No,
work.
they
And I
don't.
think we need to
I
go
don't,
back to
they
the
don't.
drawing board. You as a woman also prepare yourself. Do some research.
You will listen
Read,
to all the
watch,
because let me tell you,
look.
what happens in my home may not necessarily happen in yours.
Exactly,
Your
exactly.
man is not my man.
Exactly.
The way we are going to look at approaching marriage will be so different. The way we used to behave when we were dating is so different from how we are now. We are married. I will expect you. I will sit and wait for you to bring me chai. The other time I used to have my tea by myself. But again, you ask yourself, how sustainable is this? How sustainable is it? Will I keep serving him? So you need to come to a compromise of understanding what can we do that is going to sustain us as friends.
And also knowing that it's you transition from this to that, so that marriage also evolves. Where we are now is not where we were with my man before. The way we used to communicate before, and things are going to pop up out of nowhere. Maybe he'll have some sort of ailment, maybe I'll be sick, and now you're dealing with that, and how you handle it will be different. Maybe you have more children. Maybe there's a lot of pressure, financial pressure. So people need to be able to accommodate change in marriages. See, things are not always going to be stable. They're not going to be, but people tell you that they're going to be smooth 24/7.
It can never
So
be.
every time you have issues, you're like,
never
man,
be.
my marriage is over. It is not over. It's going through what it's supposed to go through.
And it has to go through that.
And I have noted many young people, whenever they get a challenge, most of them want to dash into another place for comfort.
Right.
For example, if I'm your husband and you piss me off, I run to Ashley for comfort. That never solves situation, because it brings
Like
a lot
drinking alcohol.
more drama.
The problem
It brings
stays
more
there.
drama there. Now you had a drama with your mama not being happy. Now you're involving Ashley into the man. She finds out that's a lot of cycle in, trouble out. And lately I've noticed that most young men, when they're getting married, they are what they call the bachelor's party. They call me sometimes and you're like, really? You know the things they ask for? Do you have strippers? Do you are you alright?
that's how he's preparing
I'm
himself.
coming to talk to them, but then they ask me, come along with at least two strippers that can
For
splash.
what?
And I'm like, wait, I thought you called me to learn how to carry marriage on, not to see these women splashing water for you and changing your whole mindset about things. And it's happening everywhere. Every
Right.
time I have a guy's bachelor kind of thing, and
It
that's
is
the
a
first thing
thing.
on the list.
They
Yet
must be
women,
great.
yet women are like, we need someone to teach us about all these different things, and they're very, very up to date. But the men, and when you're busy doing your thing, they're drunk, they're doing all those things. So
they're not even paying attention
No,
to
the
preparation.
they're not
main
paying attention
aim,
to
I think
it.
the main aim of the bachelor's party is more of do it for the last time, you're going to prison.
You're going to- and I think the attitude needs to change. Especially men. You look at marriage as prison. Me, I have some friends who are there called by their wives like, police say Kuba.
Ndiko police.
No, police say Kuba because the wife is calling, the wife is the police, right? So if you're already looking at your woman as police, you're obviously in prison.
So why
fe-
are you just be you, be free with this person? There are flaws that will happen. There is no marriage, none that will tell you it's flawless. None.
Unless they are
They
lying.
would- and they
There's
always
nothing
lie.
like that. There's
they
nothing like
always
that.
lie. The most important thing is appreciating. What do I have? What is it that we are growing together? At the end of the day, do you still want to be in this? If you want to be in it, like you said, it evolves. It's a process. By the time you get to 60, 70 years old or whatever jubilee you're celebrating or whatever relationship you're celebrating.
Even if it's just 5 years, because 5 years is a milestone for young couples
you
still.
have done a lot together. That there's a friend of mine who called me and telling me all this, and I was like, "How old are you?" We are past 5. Like, hang in there. You're past the painful moment. Now it's about looking at things and smile through it, talk about it, and move on. Because at the end of the day, those first few years, now
But the thing is, it is competing with other couples. Like you said, we are all different. Yes, I may be able to give you the general, the general advice that I would give any other married couple, because there are common things like communication is important. That one is important in every. Respect your man, respect your woman, and respect should be two-way. I don't know why they insist is respect your man. If your man is not respecting you, why would I respect you? So respect should come both ways. But then, what is tick for my marriage may not be yours, because my man is different. My man maybe doesn't want to see me, all full of charcoal all the time serving him, and is comfortable with me dressing up and supervising food. But maybe your man wants you to be all traditional, and be in the kitchen all sweaty, and then later on serving.
I think what I've noticed is over a time, is we need to address the fact that even on your body there are things that are never equal. And then every time you go into the perspective like things might change, have allowance, don't over expect, because the expectation is what kills many people. At one point I thought I'm not a food fanatic. I eat whatever is there. Sometimes I don't even eat because I am just that free. Actually, I got used to the fact that I don't have to eat in a restaurant all the time. I walk to town and I come home full. I was like, we cooked several. You have to eat.
And then you were like,
where did you eat?
And I'm like, go ahead. Actually, it took me the first month to realize that I should not just eat. When I'm going home, I go at least empty stomach. So I can eat. But man, it's a key thing to say. There's one time I remember I was with the days. We had a lot of food, chicken everywhere. I get home and she had prepared her nice local meal. I was so full by the time I go home. Say, Sebo.
Tula.
I came to cook. Slowly. Man, I ate a little portion and I took a picture of it for my brothers, like, check what I am on. I'm like, sorry, brother. But the thing is, I think it's important for us to address that whatever someone does in their opinion, it could be good for them. So receive it with happiness. From that day, I realized, okay, I just don't eat if I'm going home because I know she's there and she's cooking. But unless she's working, I know. So the thing is, don't over expect. Don't rule the world. Don't be a macho kind.
It's serious, but again, it's not that serious. And once you always treat it as a serious, I gotta be serious all the time, I think that's where the pressure comes in. And I hear a lot of people end up breaking these marriages. But all in all, marriage is beautiful. I know people tell you,
today I'm in therapy.
Marriage.
Trust me, it is so beautiful.
Beautiful. I can testify.
How old in it?
11, coming to 11 years now.
I'm 19.
So
really,
coming to 11 years, but it takes a lot of work.
Journey.
Yeah,
it's a journey, and we all have to work on it.
And we're still learning. It never stops.
And no copycats.
No copycats.
You cannot copy it anywhere else.
Well, that's all we had for you on Kachai with Lucky. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Kachai with Lucky, and be part of the family. God bless you. Be kind to one another. Kwaheri.